Hey,
Hey,
hey.
hey, hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Sydney. Good morning, Dave. Welcome to the post-Easter edition of Bead Maker and Coffee. Today's show brought to you by Inspiration Coating, and I have the entire product line here with me today because, hey, if you don't have inspiration, you just don't have it covered. Our show today is brought to you by Bear Automotive. We were going to have a different sponsor, but I'm in New York at Bear Automotive, taking over their sales guy's desk. So we're sponsored by Bear Automotive today. Bear is our Buffalo, New York, and Western New York distributor. So if you're looking for products in that neck of the woods, reach out to Bear. Good morning, Sydney.
Good morning. Can you guys see me and hear me
We
okay?
can hear you fine.
Yep.
Yay. Man, major technical difficulties this morning.
Well,
Everything
normally
was so great, then my computer won't
we'd
cooperate.
start by talking about all the stuff we did last week, but let's talk about where we are. So, Dave, you are.
Yes.
I'm at home. I had a choice. I was thinking, I was thinking, I could get up and head into work at 6:00, but I went, it's easier to go in late, I think.
And you're the only one that
That
is at home because
sounds
Sydney,
fun.
where are you today?
Yes. So I am, and I wish I could show you guys. So I am in Salt Lake. I'm at the Salt Palace Convention Center, and my daughter's in a 3-day volleyball tournament. So today is the bracket play, and they couldn't finish one position to have an 8 o'clock game. And so, there was all these things that were happening. Otherwise, we would have played at 11. So out of 3 scenarios, we would have played at 11 o'clock, and only one scenario did we play at 8 o'clock. So, of course, they killed it yesterday and finished in the one scenario that their game was at 8 o'clock. So we had to pack all of our stuff. We had to check out of our hotel room. I had to find coffee, and we had to be here, and I had to find Wi-Fi and a space to stream for this by 7:15. And I hit all those marks until the Wi-Fi didn't work. So now I'm coming to you from my phone, which is kind of a bummer because I can't see any of the comments. But hopefully, the connection's okay and stuff, but I can't see anything other than you two. But anyway, the coolest thing, which I can't show you, is I am sitting on the mezzanine level, and I found a table and a chair that I confiscated, and I'm literally looking directly over Delaney's court. So I can watch the game, I can see the score, and we can do Bead Maker and Coffee. So, multitasking mom win for me.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm super excited to be here.
And, a week ago, we were all together. So
yes.
Let's talk, because that's the part of the show that we're going to now, is what did we detail last week? And the answer is not a hell of a lot. Sydney was at TRCMA all week, and I was in recovery mode and catching up, and Dave was doing the same. But we were all at TRCMA last week, and I think probably let's talk about that as our detail for last week.
Yep. So who wants to start?
Yeah. I want Dave to start because Dave was the guy who created all the product. So Dave, how cool was it to roll out some new stuff and get to be there when we went live with them?
Well, first of all, I think TRCMA was itself quite the show. It's not like it's like for us, it's like you're at a regular trade show because of the number of people you're talking to. So you've got 60, 70 or more people that you're carrying on regular, trade show kind of conversations with. So that's really cool because all the networking besides the actual show is really cool. So, but for everybody else, it's kind of this presentation process. And, thanks to, you and Keith and Sydney and Bob, things went off really, really well. You guys had a nice lot of planning that went on in the background and carried me along. So it was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it was great to have, the new products available. Of course, we in the background at PNS Sales were working pretty diligently the week before.
Yeah.
Literally waiting for labels to show up, raw materials to show up. And all my guys did a really great job, basically picking up on the, urgency of what was going on. And so for the most part, it was set up for them and they took the ball and ran with it, and we had finished product ready to go. So that was really good.
Yes, for sure. Yes, so we kicked off the show last week, and sorry, I'm trying to pull up the YouTube, and I'm gonna look funny here for a second. I'm trying to pull up the YouTube comments on my laptop so that I can see them. I can get everywhere but here on my laptop. So yes, so we started off Monday. Man, we released 5 products, 3 cents and Defender and Swift, and holy cow, that has been absolutely crazy, right? Just the response to, and the one that I think has been the most just shocking to me was the response to Swift. Everyone seems so excited about Swift. So, I mean, they're excited about everything. It seems like they're excited about the scents too, right?
Yeah, no,
they are.
I feel like I've heard that those have been.
Week, so that was cool.
Yeah, I feel like those have been flying out. So, yeah, it was crazy. My week is it's still just a blur. I was at TRCMA for the 4 days, every single day, and got to see all the vendors come in and stuff, and it was super, super cool. We got to work on. I think the coolest thing, honestly, Keith, was when we washed your Audi, and then I mean that it's one of those things where it was dirty. It came over 2 snowy mountains or something like that.
Yeah,
it was dirty, and we got to wash it. Yeah, and we got to wash it with Absolute, which Absolute's one of those that you still every time you're like, this is so cool. But then we just kind of went rogue and put Defender on it. That wasn't part of the plan, and dang, just the pop and yeah. That was kind of fun to do that live. All of our faces, just so you all know, our facial expressions, that was totally authentic. It was the color, how it felt, and just that was pretty crazy.
What I found was really crazy. I mean, so the Absolute demo was great because I was kind of talking over on the side, and I turn around and it seemed like seconds later the car was done. I was like, well, are we going to mention that? And then you started doing the Defender, and I came up maybe maybe it was even after the presentation, but I know originally when we were talking about the car, Keith pointed out that there was gold flake in the paint, and you're like, oh yeah, there is. And then
there wasn't
after the Defender, it was like, yeah. It just stuck out like a sore thumb. So it was a huge difference in what you could see in the paint. It was pretty crazy. I'm constantly surprised on all the different colors and things you try the product on, and it just kind of continues to keep me surprised. So it's fun, really fun.
Yep.
So driving home, because Sydney made a point to put Defender on the windshield. I got a little bit of rain going over one of the coming into Hood River, and I gotta tell you, man, that water just exploded off that windshield. Might have had something to do with the fact that I was doing 80 miles an hour, but it also might have had something to do with the Defender. So.
No, I noticed it too because we had rain come into Salt Lake, and we'd put it on. Justin and I played on my car with Defender a couple days later, and so we put it on the windshield and the hood, and same thing. It was just nuts driving through the rain, and then even the hood was it was crazy. It was really cool.
So yesterday, we didn't talk about the weather here, but yesterday was 85 degrees and no wind.
Oh gosh.
I know, it was just, where did that come from? And it's gonna kind of go away again. It's gonna be 50 again on wind. But
oh my gosh,
I did decide to get the last rainstorm off my car and put Defender. So it's gorgeous.
Nice.
It's nice and clear. I don't know if we're gonna get more rain down here at all, but might as well get it cleaned up and shiny for the next week or two. It'll be cool.
Yep, that's awesome.
So real quick, we actually released 6 products last week, and we have to talk about one of them separately, but
because I think that was the hit of the show, right?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
And then one of the other things that happened last week, and that's why this comment is lingering on our screen, Jamie the cleaner says, will Tony ever find the right shop? So I think we probably have at least a little bit of an announcement to make that we had a new video for the team released this year at TRCMA, or kind of our hype video. And poor Tony was in the wrong shop. But
Yep.
Fortunately, Tony is in the right shop today. And, we want to say, Tony, thanks for coming up and helping out. Bob, he is Bob's intern this week during the training events. So Bob is teaching the detail classes this week. I don't know if everybody knows, but today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, we're doing the detail classes. Bob is teaching the classes, and Tony is his intern.
Yep.
So my hope is maybe he likes the shop up there and can continue to find it. So, Tony, have a great day and great week at PNS. And we will, we'll see you soon, buddy. But good luck today. Have fun with Bob. Take care of our guy. So.
And what's funny is I got a text from Tony yesterday, right when he got to PNS, and he was labeling bottles. And I said, "Did Bob put you to work labeling bottles?" And he said he sure did.
Really?
Yes. And then I said, "Are you doing arts and crafts with Bob?" And he said yes. And I said, "Well, you're using the wrong labels." Because they were using the old natural finish labels. And I was like, "There's new labels."
Oh, boy.
So funny. Anyway.
Well, you're not officially
they'll have a great time.
PNS family and team unless you're cleaning the training center. So welcome to the family.
Sun rising back here is
you got a light behind you. That. I think it's probably the sun coming through the window.
It's the sun, yes. Here, we're going to turn. There we go.
Pesky
the sun is rising. I know. Crazy.
All right, so let's talk about that.
And every time I move it, it's following me.
Well, there you go, right there. Put your head right there.
Okay.
Don't turn your neck.
So funny.
So we did release a 6th product, and I think there's a little confusion about that product because a lot of our partners don't really use a product like this. So Dave, tell us about the 6th product.
Yeah, Triple S was a product we developed for color change wraps. And it, it was just kind of a surprise. It's been the sort of thing we've been working on for about 6 months now, or actually a little longer, because there were some off-the-shelf PNS products that were being tried out that just didn't quite make the grade. So we had a bunch of wrap material to work on. I think I told the story before, where I was testing out product over period of time just to make sure that it did all the processes that it was supposed to do. So Triple S stands for slip, slide, and shine, and it's designed to be a one-step product for the application of color change wrap. So it was demonstrated during TRCMA quite well and quite amazingly. It's just great to see, some quality application technique, right? It's just shocking.
Yeah, the best installer on the planet, or at least one of, which is Justin Pate. It was fantastic, and he always makes it look easy or easier. But I got to tell you, Dave, I mean, that was a product that was an opportunity that we kind of ran into a year ago, right, at TRCMA. Right. And Justin came to you guys and said, "Hey, can we create something to help me with this particular problem?" And so, after going through the basement, as Sydney calls it, and every other class at PNS, you had to go back to the lab a little bit and kind of formulate something up that really fit.
Yeah. So, we were working with the samples that Justin gave us, and that was cool. Able to check for the slip, slide, and shine. And then we came up after about 7 or 8 different tries, a product that seemed to be ticking all the boxes. Justin happened to be in the area and came by and started doing his testing. Great to watch him just grab hold of the material and show us how it was supposed to work. And it was a success. So that was great. So, for those that don't do color change wrap, there are some issues with the application process. One is, premature sticking of the material. And then once you've got that material down, you can get these glue lines as you're repositioning the wrap. And so that's part where the glue kind of sticks and it folds the vinyl just a little bit, and kind of puts these semi-permanent lines in the vinyl, which distracts from the finished product when you're doing what Justin calls the glass, where he's pulling it out and making it just like smooth out completely. The other thing is when you're pulling the vinyl over the top of an edge, you can get a little glue basically that kind of rolls into little balls. They end up looking like sand marks underneath the underneath. So we got rid of those two problems with the slip and slide. And then he wanted a one-step process so that he was going to be able to finish the wrap at the same time. Great to see the matte finish or satin finish wrap at TRCMA. And it really popped nicely, and it had a great feel. He stopped twice, I think, during the application process and just kind of went, wow. So it's great. We're really happy about it.
Well, cool. So, and you talk about the lines that kind of get into a film. And if you ever have been in the sun, say on an airport tarmac in Monterey, and seen a wrap job that was done late at night in the dark, and then you put your polarized sunglasses on and you see every single one of those squeegee marks.
Really?
Oh yeah, Dave, we had it a number of years ago, and they had done a chrome wrap on a car and didn't look bad, right? Like this, no problem. Throw on the polarized sunglasses and you were like, oh my God, that looks horrible. So, it's nice to know that there really is some science to that and that it does actually make a difference in the application. So I'm going to answer the Facebook user. Why is there not a cat on this episode? Because unless Dave has one, Sydney and I are not at home. So there you
go. We're like, we have a cat. Our former cat would do the same thing that Sydney's did. As soon as you pulled out your pocket, it would walk across the keyboard. Yeah. But the current cat runs like it just runs as soon as you pull out any electronics.
That's so funny. Yeah, she's at home.
Both of mine are
I'm sure you guys saw my shocked face. They just closed my window. That's so funny.
All right, we got Go Bills, Go 49ers.
Were you too noisy?
No, I think because the sun. And so literally I positioned myself right above the court to watch through the window, and they just closed the blinds. So the game just started and they just closed the blinds.
Well, I think that's
so now I got to turn it off.
Coming right behind you is probably going right through.
I know.
All right.
That's so funny.
So when will Swift be available on Autoality? Great question. They have ordered Swift, so I would anticipate that before the end of the month, you should be able to find it there. So, but that is a question for them, so make sure you hit them up. All right, so we're just getting the good mornings out of the way. Hey, you got a welcome to SLC, Sydney. So Tug Art,
thank you.
Highly recommend Red Iguana if you like Mexican food. I think you're going.
You know what? I actually
driving fast.
I actually saw the Red Iguana come up. We were looking for food suggestions the other day, but the problem is every night we've gotten out of here at 11, and there's no place open for dinner. And then yesterday was quite the interesting because it was Easter and it was Sunday. And there was nothing open anywhere.
Nothing.
So it was a little interesting.
Yeah, I got in last night here and nothing was open.
Yeah, we'll probably head home right after this. But I have eaten at the Red Iguana. It's very good.
All right, Terry Foreman, congrats on Defender and Swift. Yes.
Thank you.
So you know what I think we ought to do? We ought to run a contest to see what the next flavor of fragrance is.
That could be
flavor.
Fun.
Yeah, I really love the Triple S. That one's amazing.
All right, you have
super good
for some Swift action. Let's talk Swift real quick. So, Dave, this is an interesting product because when you guys were rolling out the product to test, and Bob sent it to Sid and Rennie, and I called Bob and I said, you sent it to the wrong person. And he's like, what are you talking about? There are brand testers, and I'm like, yeah, but send it to the guy who doesn't believe in it. Because I've never believed you could do a clean and address product together. So how did that come about, and why does it now work?
Well, that makes two of us, Keith. It's so funny that I think you guys started, it's been talked about for a long time, but I think 3 or 4 years ago at one of our planning meetings, you came up with the idea, and I kept scratching my head, and I kept saying, well, there's a reason there aren't very many of them out there. And it's, partly because I just didn't think they did a decent job of either process. And I've tried, a bunch of other people's products, and it just, they usually hit or miss on one or the other applications. So it was, kind of with trepidation when I began the process. It's, kind of in a formulator's perspective, you've got to get obviously the cleaning and the dressing, but then there's making the product hold together, making it, say, look good and stay in the bottle and not separate out. Because you do have 2 separate materials, or many more than 2, but you do have 2 formulas working together, a cleaner and a dressing. So the process of getting that to stay together nicely and do the job. So, yeah, I mean, we started working on it. I don't think there's anything more, I've mentioned this before, frustrating than basically going through the interior of your car with a little bit of dressing and seeing a missed dirt spot and deciding to use dressing to try and clean it. And it's surprising how bad it is, especially with me. And I know what some of the other ingredients are in dressings. You would think that it would do something. So it's a little bit of a balancing act between the cleaning and the dressing, because you don't want the cleaner to remove the dressing. You don't want the dressing to interfere with the cleaning. So I think we have a good balance. We have good medium duty cleaning, and we have a nice smooth satin application with the dressing part. It's very pleasant to work with across the board.
Yes.
So Sid, talk about that real quick, because what is the really best application for that product, or the kind of the sweet spot for that? Because it's not great for a super dirtball car, but what's it really fit for?
So it's really going to be great for maintenance. So, vehicles that come in, I use it at a couple different times. So if I have a car that's coming in on, maintenance details and it's really fairly clean, I'm going to use that. There might be a couple areas that I'm going to touch first with Express and like a detail factory brush. If maybe the cup holders, if there's, something spilled on the seat, I might touch those areas quick with Express and then go through. So maintenance details, like Express, wash details, you might use it. But then the other place where I use it a lot is on coating jobs. So I don't typically take the time to do full details or, inside on coatings, just because I don't have the time. And so, but I'll run through the inside and touch it up. It looks nice. Everything's great. And that is probably my favorite area for it, because it leaves behind protection. It gets off any dust or anything that's there. I've also noticed in my own vehicle, since I've been using it for a few weeks in my own vehicle, solely, is I almost feel like I have less dust on my dashboard.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it for that. So it really seems, I use it a lot, but also we know in my business, I like to just do maintenance details. So I find myself using it a lot, and it is really, really great. Now, I did have one person send in a question yesterday, so I think it's important to touch on this, is they said, well, it doesn't foam up like Express. And this is going to be like, we're going to keep repeating this. Like, it's not Express. It's not Express. It's not meant to replace Express. Express still very much has, I'm going to say like 90% of the time, unless you're only doing maintenance stuff, but Express and Swift are totally different. We're talking totally different cars, totally different processes. It's not going to foam like Express. It will lather. I'm going to call it more of a lather, right?
Yeah,
but it's not going to foam. It's definitely going to lather, and it's got, it has cleaning ability for sure. But if you've got sticky spilled stuff, you're going to need to use Express. It is not Express in any way, shape, or form. So just wanted to cover that because I've gotten that a
No,
lot
and
this week.
I think it's worth putting it out there so folks know when they get it what kind of the target for that is, and
Yeah.
It's a great product, and I noticed the same thing, Sydney. I don't have as much dusting as I think you would with a normal dressing, so I think that's kind of a cool factor of that product.
Yeah.
So yes, I saw a couple questions go by about UV protection and anti-static, and so yes, both of those are in the product. I've never been a huge fan of UV protection for the interior of a car for the most part, because the most of the damaging UV rays are removed by the glass anyway. But it does have UV protection, and it does have some anti-static products or features. So it is doing a nice job because it's just kind of keeping the interior. Now I've got a nice matte finish on my interior, and boy, I'll tell you, it just darkens it up and leaves a really pleasant look to it. I'm not a huge glossy dressing interior fan ever since I was a kid and I sprayed multi-dressing all over the dash of my car. It just scarred me for life. But that was a long time ago. I realized how much shine off your dash doesn't work with the windshield. But it was, I do like a nice kind of smooth matte or satin finish on the interior.
Yeah, well, and being in the car wash business in Texas, I can tell you the number one thing they didn't want to have down there was a shiny dashboard, because you essentially drive blind. Right. You can't see through the windshield. Sunny area. So Marco Barr's loving the new Defender, but he says he can't get enough of the Bead Maker smell. Well, who can? But hey, now, Mark, you can just get the fragrance and touch it into the car, and then it's with you all the time. So there you go. Because that was one of our 3 fragrances. So what were the other 2 fragrances we brought out?
The Absolute. So we had Absolute, which is the coconut lime, which has been my favorite. I brought the bottle with me, and I've been spraying my car while we've been down here. And then the green, you're going to have to say it, but Dave, green tea.
Eucalyptus green
tea mint.
Mint tea.
Mint tea. I'm like, green tea, eucalyptus mint tea, which is the scent that we love from Cockpit. So that is a fantastic scent as well. Super, super excited about all of the scents. They seem to be working fantastic. The Absolute one, though, man, I'm obsessed with that one.
And no, we're not going to call it Essence of Cockpit. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Didn't look right on the bottle.
Nope.
So the eucalyptus mint tea is this more of kind of a floral green tea fragrance to it. Very little eucalyptus and mint that you can pick up when you're smelling it. Yep. So
but if you have a cold that week, go with that one. So I do have to mention something, because one of our good friends, Jamie the Cleaner, was at TRCMA, and he did the mid-game show. He basically did halftime, and he did a post wrap-up show. And I didn't get to see really much of either of those, but I got to give a shout-out to Jamie and to Mr. Dewar, because they did a great job at halftime and post-show. And they really, that was really a cool thing that, give the Rag Company credit. They saw that they did the show last year, so they brought him into the studio and had him do it during the show. So I thought that was another great value add this year. And if you missed any of that whole event, make sure you're paying attention for next year, because who knows what we'll roll out. But it was just a great event. And again, thank you to the Rag Company for a great program.
Yes,
as I understand,
such a good job.
So was the first time they'd actually sat together at one of their shows. That was
crazy. They did such a good job. Very entertaining. So I highly recommend going back and watching, TRCMA. If you missed it, go back and watch it. All the vendors were great. TRC was great, and especially the halftime show, pre-post show. So I think the pre and post show were both on Jamie the Cleaner's YouTube, and then the mid show was on the actual TRC stream every day.
Yes.
They did an absolutely awesome. back in the swamp, and I'm sure missing the crisp, cold Boise air. Well, that's surprising that somebody would say, well, but I guess if you haven't had it for the last 6 months, I'm tired of the crisp Boise air.
Well, right, but he lives
It's been
in the
hot in Salt Lake, though.
stifling humidity that is the swamp. So if you have not lived there, you don't understand. Dave, question: How far are you limited hold back on new product by price? If cost didn't matter, do you choose other better products? So let's really just answer this as a company, Dave. Our first consideration is never price when it comes to a product. Is it feasible?
Right.
Can it be done? And is it a fit for the market? Usually is the first kind of part, the whole conversation. Is there really a need? And then we go about, looking at, can we make it? Because we've made some products that are not inexpensive, and we have a couple right now that, people look at them and go, man, the price point's pretty high, but look at a product like Dynamic is certainly one of those that if we had just said we're afraid of the price, we probably wouldn't have made it. But great product, dilutes out well. You can get 5 gallons out of that product for the price of what the 1 gallon is. So price is rarely the number one consideration. It's always a conversation, but it's rarely the consideration.
Mm-hmm.
So for myself, it is usually, a lot of times when I'm dealing with samples, I don't actually even know what the price is going to be. You can kind of guess a little. So no, for me, performance is the first criteria. We did run into a thing with Dynamic where we just decided, and maybe we were wrong, that we were just going to scare the pants off of anybody that saw the price for it. So we did discontinue it for a while. Eventually, when some of the prices moderated, I wouldn't say they went back down completely. We decided, well, hey, let's just put it out there because people really want this product, and it's a great product. So let the people decide what they want to do. And we took kind of a mid-range difference and split the difference for the cost for people. And it's been really popular. I think for us, for something like Dynamic at this point, again, still the supply is part of the problem, as much of the problem. So it's kind of coming out in limited amounts at this point, but it has very little to do anymore with the cost. I think I used to spend more time kind of glancing at the cost of an item than I do now. I have a great spreadsheet system that kind of tells me how much each material contributes to the cost. Sometimes I think where I do end up making a cost and thought is fragrances are quite expensive. So when you're adding fragrances to a product, I think I err a little bit on the side, or I used to err on the side of maybe not putting as much fragrance in because, well, it's not really it doesn't to me seem like a functional ingredient, but in fact it is. It adds to the appreciation of the product and how much people enjoy using it. So it is a functional ingredient. I think we're probably allowing that cost to get a little higher than we used to. But as far as performance ingredient, no, very little consideration goes into how much they're going to cost. It's just like, well, hey, if it does the job, and we really want to see this product do its job, the price of the product is just going to end up being a little higher to get the performance that we want.
Yeah. Well, I think today, it used to be about price and quantity. I think today it's about quality and productivity with the product. And so a little more expense on a product isn't a big thing if the product's efficient and effective. And, one of the products that, this is a typical thing that we talk about is here's a product that we don't really make in a gallon anymore, which is Ego Maker. And, it's really not a price thing. It's really kind of inefficient to have a gallon of compound because you can't get all the product out of the bottle. So the quart bottle was a better way to go, but rarely is it ever for us about a price on the product as the start point. That's a factor.
Yeah, I think too, you got a point in that, I think some of the polishes and compounds were the first iteration of where we ran into, well, these are high efficiency particulates. They're custom made for us. They are just one of those, and you gotta put them in there. And in fact, you're seeing huge performance gains in polishes and compounds over the last 7 or 8 years. Whereas we're just not doing the inexpensive abrasives anymore, where they're just kind of like an offshoot of another industry. These are custom made for the products that we're putting them in.
All right. Eddie says he went from 14 inches of snow to cigars. Wherever you're smoking cigars, Eddie, I want to
go. He's in Pocatello.
Oh,
poor guy.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's so stinking cold up there.
Yes.
It's like forever winter.
Yeah. Jamie does bring the heat. So good job, Jamie.
Yes.
For those that were involved or watching earlier, I just want to point out how the Earth is rotating, and we're now getting a sunrise here.
That's so funny. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, my sun's right about there. It's a little more overhead. All right, got to.
So this is a fun question. Because it says from Bob. So Bob, poor guy, has been packing orders for the last. He got home from TRC and went straight to packing orders, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, so let's give Bob a little relief,
because our little Ian went on vacation.
Ian did. Ian is on an adventure, and I want him to. Maybe we need to have him on the show and tell us about his trip. But so Ian was out from last Wednesday, and he's all the way out through the end of this week. So, the old "Be Kind" rewind. Be kind. It's just Bob is the only guy pulling it right now for the website. So, give Bob a little bit of patience, and keep in mind he's teaching 3 classes this week. So
yes.
Just teaching classes and doing the. We're a full. Bob's a full service president of the company.
Right. Which just means everything that everybody else doesn't do, he does. And so I want to tell you, I got a phone call on Friday night at 6:30, and I was still hacking around the computer, and it's Bob. And I hear the tape gun going in the background. And Bob's like, it's date night.
Oh my goodness.
Yvette and I are pulling orders. If anybody thinks that we're not out here working. And so
goodness.
I want to say thank you to Yvette, with Good Friday, and you guys are in the shop at 6:30 at night.
That's amazing.
Packing boxes. So, just one of the cool things about both the family and the family business. So.
Yeah.
Can you bring up Aaron's question there?
I'm getting there. I'm rolling.
I don't know how far down you are on that.
Everyone wants to know, Eddie, how is.
I see some big questions coming by.
Defender's a game changer. Such an amazing product. Yes. Definitely a grand slam.
Okay. So Eddie's
still testing it, used on door jams. Yep. Perfect. Well, look at you. Are we in speed round already? Am I really?
You're on speed mode because all of us have places to be today.
We do. So just give everybody a heads up. We have to cut out of here right at the half hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Markabar actually measured single micron difference.
We had a really fancy test done on that.
Yes,
we did.
And I'm not going to have Dave go into the numbers because that's unfair, but you need to watch that episode because Dave put out really good data that you guys should watch. And maybe, Sid, what we can do is cut that show up a little bit and just put that out.
We could do that. We did, though. We do have just our section clip on our YouTube.
Yes.
So if anybody wants to literally just watch PNS's segment, that is on our YouTube, just our section.
Yep. Yes. So it's going to be 71 here on Wednesday, and I will be inside a convention center the whole day. So I'm really on top of it.
Tony popping in before his big day.
Terry, you're going to love Tony if you haven't met Tony.
My guess is by about noon. Yeah, my guess is by noon, Bob's going to say, "You got this. I got to go back orders." Shake out. Yes. Okay. So too, if you didn't watch Arts and Crafts with Sydney, go check that out in the Bead Maker Lounge. Because you don't want to shake Absolute. Dave, do you want to talk about why we don't shake Absolute?
Yeah. The thing is that the polymers in the product are very attracted to surfaces, and they're almost just as attracted to air surfaces as they are to the surface you are. You shake it up and you get a lot of bubbles in there, and actually those bubbles get stuck, and they kind of use some of the efficiency of the product. So it's better to just give it a light, just give it a little, whatever. Yeah, you call that tilt.
I called it rock. And, gentle rock.
Rock. Yeah,
gentle rock.
I actually like where Alex is going here. Hashtag tilt absolute is the way to go. So I think that may be the new hashtag. We'll have to get a bracelet.
Yes, that was,
and then
even
when you put it in the water, don't. Rennie, he was mixing the heck out of it, and he's going like, it's not dissolving. It's like, yes, because it's grabbing the bubbles. So we want to. It's we'll kind of maybe see if we can work on that. It's not exactly what I would like to see happen, but it is an indication of how efficient the product.
Well, and it's just like when you put it into the pail. Don't mix it up violently. Gently swirl it or stir it. It's the same thing as far as that goes. So if you want more info on the Triple S stuff, we did cover that earlier in the program. So because we're in speed round for the entire last half hour, we're not going to recover that. Tim Horton Coffee, because I'm in the Northeast, as close to Canada as I can be without being legally there. Let's see. Yes, everybody's saying good morning. Yes, the Canadian cohort has arrived. I love that term, cohort. All right, look at that.
Romero, he said later he'd go find Tony. He's not going to make Tony go find him.
Okay, well, Romero actually, so there you go.
Yes.
Good morning, Gary Reith. Dude, awesome to have you on the show.
Yes.
We will have an announcement on Gary Reith, I think, in the near future, so that's going to be cool. Look at that. Everybody's chiming in. So I'm trying to get down to your question. Who was the question from?
Aaron, I think.
You'll see it. I mean, they've got some actual, kind of technical questions that sounded kind of fun. Now I've forgotten what it's moved off the page.
I know he said he was looking for Aaron's comment.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if I can find it.
Just I would say, a pint to the gallon. So fill a gallon up to the point where you've got about a pint worth of space left, gallon jug, and dump your product in.
Yeah, nice and simple. Then you can reuse the bottle again. Put a sprayer on it.
There's some pretty funny questions.
All right. Ethan says, I have 2 questions regarding Defender. Are there any problems with Defender curing in the bottle, trigger, etc.? And 2, would it be a good idea to use paint prep as a drying aid with Absolute before Defender?
Okay. There are no problems with Defender curing in the bottle and trigger. We have, my lab batches have been kind of interesting where, I've kind of poured out the container into my bottles for sending them around, and then found that the coating resulting on the container I made it in basically is completely insoluble. So that was kind of fun. But I've not seen it be a problem in a bottle yet. Sydney, at all?
Yeah, no issues at all. No issues.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. And then we always recommend paint prepping before you do any kind of a coating product. So,
paint as a drying aid with Absolute before Defender. I mean, a clean surface is always nice to have. I don't know if you need to go quite to the level of paint prep. Because Absolute does a great job of leaving a clean surface. I mean, I just did it yesterday.
Yeah.
If you use it as a drying aid, I don't think it's a problem, but I think you'd be fine just drying Absolute with a towel and moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Sure. Does a great job. I thought one of the things somebody asked was, how to kind of work with Bead Maker and Defender. Mm-hmm. And Sydney had addressed that during TRCMA. Where they're completely different products.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally different products. I haven't had any issues I put Defender on, honestly, I did a wash clay seal with Bead Maker and then went back with Defender as my, final spray just because I had it and I love it. It's hard to not grab it. I didn't have any issues. I mean, the 2 work together very well.
Yeah.
I didn't have any streaking issues, you know, and I've seen a lot of those questions come in where they say, you know, if I put Bead Maker on a week ago, is it okay to put Defender on? Yeah, absolutely. You know, and if you want, you can do a test spot, but I have not personally, and I've used the two together now for months and months and months, in varying degrees, you know, Defender, Bead Maker on top of Defender, Defender on top of Bead Maker. I have no issues. Now on a chemistry level, Dave, maybe you could speak to more, you know, because we generally say put your, you know, strongest layer underneath. But in that scenario, if I'm doing wash, clay, seal with Bead Maker, and then I decide I want to put a topper of Defender, is the Defender soaking through the Bead Maker and getting to the surface?
Are you talking about like right away?
Yeah, right away.
Yeah,
Or,
within 30 minutes.
Right away, yes, no problem. Okay. It's gonna basically displace the Bead Maker for the most part. So you've gotten your lubricity from the Bead Maker from your wash, clay, seal. So your Defender's gonna basically, if you do it right after, it's gonna displace the bead.
Through.
Yep.
And then what about if somebody has a week-old Bead Maker on their car?
You know, it's I would definitely try to wash the vehicle first. But I don't know.
I've done it and it seems great. I just don't know how much actually bonds to the paint. But what I will say is that I've done it, and when I went back and washed the vehicle again, I still felt like the Defender was there. So
yeah, I've done
just in my experience, I've had no issues. I feel like it works great.
My it's just because of the way it's worked out. I've been testing Defender, and I will trying to see how long it lasts, and I will end up using after about a month, I find that I start using the Bead Maker as kind of a drying aid.
Yeah.
Then that's where, so I would say that, Defender's a great base layer to have available.
Yes. Ideally.
About your own process.
And that's what I would say is ideally you're going to want Defender as your base layer. But if you already have Bead Maker on your car, I don't think you need to go to the level of trying to strip it. I mean, you could do a good paint prep is probably going to be fine, but
right.
I've done it lots of times and it seems great.
The theory would be, you want to get it off there and get the Defender on there. But the theory is not necessarily actual in practice a lot of times.
Right.
So, will it hurt anything? Yep. And will the Defender look worse or better? No, I mean, the Defender's going to look great over plain paint or over Bead Maker. I think we're going to be fine. And look, we're all going to learn a little more as we go with this, how things goes with new product. Everybody will find a way to use your product in a way you didn't design it for, Dave. So when they come back and tell us the way that it wasn't designed to be used, we'll learn more.
Yep.
And that's not a knock on anybody.
Let's just advise right now. Let's just advise right now, Jamie. I probably wouldn't mix Defender with anything.
No.
Just don't mix it with anything.
Mix it with Swift. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
No, that is a standalone. Do not mix up mixologist. This program. Right. So, question on Triple S. We talked about wrap material, but what about PPF, Dave?
I will have to say I have no idea because the bottom line is, it was a stretch for me to do the color change wrap. It took a lot of input on how the product actually works, and it was a learning experience. And I haven't done that work on PPF, so I can't say I know the answer.
Okay, and so my advice would be Justin Pate, check him out. He probably will have already answered this question 800 times because he rolled out a new product with our work. So it looks like the campaign is already starting for the Swift scent or the Triple S scent to be the next fragrance. What is the fragrance of Triple S?
Yes.
Is that a watermelon lemonade? What is the fragrance in that?
Oh yeah, are we supposed to say what it is? It's called watermelon lemonade.
Have we ever not just told people the truth anyway?
That's so funny.
I get it.
Smells so good.
It's great.
So here's the same question on Triple S. Sorry, we can't answer that question exactly, but check out Justin's site. He will certainly be able to answer that. I don't think he probably would say it's the primary thing you'd use with it, but I don't know. I'd like the leather scent revamped as well at some point. Okay, that's usually one of our most common and popular fragrances in leather treatment and natural finish. So maybe we need to review that and get a new leather out. I don't know, but
that was one of my votes, was the leather.
Yep. So let's talk real quick about, and just a kind of short answer here, but when we look at Defender, it is a ceramic spray is what we're actually comfortable saying it is. Correct, Dave?
Well, yeah, it's SiO2, and it's more of just a bone of contention about the term ceramic for me. It's as ceramic as spray. And I feel better about an actual product that you leave on the surface and it cures on the surface. The thing that ceramics are supposed to have is extreme hardness, and when you're putting these ceramic ingredients in your soap or your dressing or your whatever you're doing, you're not ending up with a hard ceramic surface. So to me, that just nullifies the terminology. It's a argument that we lost, but we're still not gonna jump on the ceramic bandwagon for every single product.
Yeah,
it is a great, durable, chemical resistant, heat resistant layer of film. And when it's combined with the ceramic, we've seen some amazing things. But we're not using the terminology on the bottle, but it has that ceramic terminology associated with it for sure.
So it does amazing things on our coatings, which, legend, inspiration, it's awesome on top of as the second layer. So Alex Orr asks, "Hey, Blue Bead Maker, % from the basement."
no.
No, not happening. Sydney is vetoed.
You're going to get a hard pass on that for me.
Sydney put a new padlock on the basement, and that ain't coming out of it. So there you go.
I was not a fan. I know Anthony's still a fan. I was not a fan at all.
So how you get Swift to foam up is we either put it on the brush or put an adequate amount on the panel and use a hog's hair brush or a nylon fiber brush. We like the or the Detail Factory brushes.
Yeah.
Those tend to give us the best foaming action. Although,
and it's more of a lather.
Yeah,
it's more of a lather, not a foam.
And you do get a little bit of that if you spray it directly onto the Sidekick. It'll do that a little bit too, but typically we find it has a little more lather with a brush. So, does Swift have both anti-static properties as well as UV protection? Yes, it does. So we'll move forward from there. Okay. Yeah.
He did. Yep.
Okay.
We already took care of that one. Yes. Mom Mobile might not be the platform for Swift.
I would think the car that is well cared for would be the better answer there. So
yeah. Yep.
All right. People got some. Dave, can you make Alcantara cleaner? Well, I mean, I got to be honest. I think if you use a towel method with Express, you can do a pretty good job with that. I mean, I think we've talked about that quite a bit on the show, and I think Express is an Alcantara cleaner. But Dave, is there?
Yeah, I think part of the trick is using a microfiber towel at the end. They're so absorbent. Make sure you're pulling more material back out. So I think that's a great way to go.
Yep. Mike, just a short tip on that. I know that a lot of companies like to put Alcantara cleaner in foam dispensers, which is kind of that's really the only difference.
Yeah.
And so you can buy the foaming hand pumps now at the dollar store. At most stores now, they have empty foaming hand pumps, and you just mix Express 1-to-1, put it in the foam pump, and you're good to go on the Alcantara cleaner.
Okay, I'm just going to say this for the good of all in the world. Our products are not cosmetic care. So we're just going to put that out there. If make your life love you more, then okay.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
All right.
Did we get to the one where Tony asked for Dave's lab code yet?
No.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't got by
So
me.
Dave
He
will
asked
since
what the
change the
code to
chemistry
bring
on.
into the lab is, since you're at home.
Yeah. So we'll since change
Will
the
the sense
chemistry. I
change?
think it's a part of it, right, Dave? That you have to take that into consideration.
They can, but we have to take that into account. There's been some surprising results where a small amount of scent will turn a product like bright orange or something.
Yeah.
So there can be. Scents are very reactive. That's why you can smell them. So you have to be a little careful.
Yes.
I don't know that there will ever be a Sydney product line, but if there is, it'll need to say from the basement with Sydney, and I'm not sure it's going to go that way.
And everything will be teal.
Everything will be teal, yes.
Or pink. Teal and pink. Teal and pink.
There you go.
Yep, there we go. What's the combination shear lab? I've got some science to do. He's got to do the work of all the people that mix stuff themselves. Make sure it's the right lab.
Tony, do some science. Go run the laundry machine and wash those pads and towels, would you?
Yeah. Tony, if you can figure out how to get hot water in that washing machine,
you are the king of all.
Amazing. I tried dynamic. Yes.
We're running out of time. I saw a question about Defender on matte finish. I think
an
important
thing
to mention is amazing on matte finish.
Yes, so amazing.
Very even coating. Not really, no gloss, but it does enhance the color.
And it enhances the color, and it almost makes it feel like silk sheets. No joke. Because I have matte, on the Challenger, we did it on the hood and the trunk deck, which is both matte, and holy moly, it's amazing. Highly recommended.
Yep. So here's
there was another Defend
high humidity on Defender. The bonus with Defender is you're basically spray applying it and wiping it almost immediately. So I just think you got to pay attention, maybe work smaller areas, but you're not going to have a curing problem so much with clean.
We had, I think we sent it to Hawaii right away.
Yeah. Yep.
That was one of the earliest things we did, so that it could be tested in high humidity, and it's fine.
Yeah. We have not heard of any, right? But I would still, if you have somebody with allergies, I would just, I've never heard of any, but if my customers say they're sensitive to scents, I just don't use them.
Right.
Yeah.
The fragrance industry is very interesting. They have a lot of their own self-governing guidelines. And so we're following all of those. However, there are allergens. I have to take a look at, we're below the allergen level. We have allergen reports. And if there is an allergen in a fragrance that meets the criteria, it's on the label. It says, contains fragrance allergens.
Yeah. So we have a campaign going now for Bob as the real MVP. We know that. We know. Look at that. Everybody knows Bob. They are paying attention. They do care.
I got my order as fast as I took my money.
Flying the Hunt's closing.
There is a wipe and shine for the color. That's funny.
Yep.
Yes. Answering all the hard questions. He's good at the hard questions. Because I use words like the polymers freak out and scream, and Dave gives you the actual answer. Gabriel, there needs to be more. Absolute bubbles are bad. Got it. Right. Yeah. I had to give Jamie the whole don't shake it. Yep. Don't shake it. Gently rock.
In the Portford.
Yes, it is.
It should be now. It was not available last week.
Oh,
Didn't have it turned on last week.
Okay.
But I do believe Bob turned it on. So we are good.
Cool. Yes. No. Before I get in trouble. No.
So I have to say, company disclaimer, Sydney's Arts and Crafts was not a company sponsored or condoned program. There you go. All right. That's that. But we still love it anyway. Morning all.
No, and I'll tell you what, and I did put a disclaimer, don't email Ian, because when you call or write or email or post asking anyone at headquarters for labels, I get in trouble.
Which is a first because usually I'm the guy that gets in trouble for all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, which is awesome. So Dave, is Defender a cheater or beater? I don't know if that sounds
Beater.
good, but
Beater.
But it also, the interesting thing about Defender is it has low surface energy. So it is a beater, but the
beads roll off easier.
They roll off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
they bead, but they roll off.
Beads and runs. That's what we're going to say. Beads and runs.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
No more mixing for Jamie. There you go.
Too funny.
Dude, we're getting the hashtags today. Today's a hashtag campaign.
Yes.
All right. Can you use Defender on a matte paint? Well, we did actually in the show.
I think we got that.
Yeah, we just did that one.
And things about the PNS.
Yes, great things about the PNS basement. It's awesome.
If you can find the door to it, but there's only a few of us.
If you can find it.
If you know, you know.
You got to come with me, and I'll show you where it is.
So yeah, we covered some of the ceramic scenarios with Defender in the TRCMA. And it is similar curing, right? That's not unusual actually for films to cure that way.
So with this product with Defender, if you're applying it to a coating that's freshly applied, say layer one, we would actually get what's called soak, and the product would soak into that layer. So, which is why with Inspiration and Legend, Inspiration Classic, we really love it as kind of the second layer because it does fill pores and soak into that product and really bond into it. If you're taking a coating that's a year old and you're reapplying this over the top, it's going to cure on top, but not soak into the coating.
Right. In chemistry, you need to realize that is an equilibrium going on. People think that things are static. There is not going to be the soak as we had discussed during the earlier application. There's going to be a little bit, but no, your best application is going to be during the cure process. But there's no reason. I mean, it's going to be like putting it on paint, right? It's going to sit. It's going to have good durability anyway, just not the level of with during the cure process.
This is just me.
Oh.
So what you're saying is we need to get a junior chemistry coat? Is that what we need? Junior lab coat? Bead maker? No. Don't mess with Bead maker. Bead maker is just...
Yeah. I get cranky when people mess with the color and smell a bead maker.
So Defender you can literally put on pretty much every surface.
Yeah. It's actually great on plastic too, to be honest. It's the whole thing.
So typically surface treatments like this, they react to metals like aluminum and chrome like they react to glass because you have a similar attachment chemistry. And Defender was definitely formulated for paint, but you get similar results as you get on glass. It's very clean.
So here's one that I do want to say we probably have not done a lot of testing on, which is Triple S and Defender on matte paint. Got it. So I think if you are doing a matte wrap and it's being applied now, probably Triple S. If you are putting Defender down, I wouldn't put it over Triple S because I think that'd be counterproductive.
Right.
If you were just protecting a matte finish, just put the Defender down. Triple S is really an install type of product more than it is anything else. Wouldn't you agree, Dave?
Yeah, I think Justin's, he's looking at it as a finished product as well. I think you could reuse it if you have it available. And that's fine, but because that's what he wants to do at the end of the wrap process. If you have Defender, then use Defender. If you have Triple S, then you could go for that as well.
All right. So Stephen Chin is telling on Bob. He was out there in full workout gear. That was sometimes packaging products at PNS is just a workout. So just gonna say. All right. Sydney is in the doghouse for arts and crafts. She is not in the doghouse, but it's not the doghouse. It's the DOGG. So there you go.
Yeah.
Any
gosh,
emails,
that's so funny. This is great.
Including the terms arts and crafts.
Crafts are immediately deleted.
You just You just this little nugget, Sydney, and people just love them.
It's so funny. The arts and crafts segment was fun. So fun.
Morning, Stephen. A junior chem
series
with
I like
Tony
this.
and Dave would actually
a junior chem series. Oh, that would be actually really great.
We may have the opportunity to make that series happen, so we'll have to look at that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. I think I am at the end of the comments.
Cool.
Woohoo! So we are at 37 after. So parting shots. Dave, what is your parting shot for the month? What is your inspiration coding related shot for the month?
Oh, wow. Bam. I don't know. Why don't you guys go and I'll think about mine for a second.
Well, Sydney and I have the benefit of we're doing this in 2 weeks, so we only have to come up with a couple weeks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my parting shot is just that, Defender is a huge addition to the Inspiration family of coatings. I'm super excited about it. It's something that's been needed for a long time. It really doesn't totally finish off, but it definitely fills some big shoes within that line, which, is really going to change the coating game, I feel like, for Inspiration. But also just one of my parting comments is just that, between Defender and Swift, they're both such amazing products. And, we're excited about both of them coming out and coming to market. I think even them coming together is awesome. Even though they're kind of in different lines, it's just an exciting week, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for myself, I'm just still going to stay curious. I'm keep trying out, lots of new things. It's fun. Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Yeah. I think for, the whole industry or our whole business has just become more fun over the past couple of years. The interest from enthusiasts and professionals is exciting. And, I like being surprised. Mm-hmm. I'm trying some things out and go like, wow, that was a lot of fun. So I'm just going to keep doing that. Mm-hmm. I spraying more stuff on my car and seeing what happens is,
Yeah. So I have
a lot of fun.
I have one quick question, Dave, before we lose you. What out of Absolute, Defender, and Swift, what has been your favorite project and are you most proud of out of those three?
Wow.
Geez, nothing like a hard question.
I think I would have to say Absolute right now.
Yeah.
Mostly, because, and maybe even like Triple S, mostly because they were completely new directions for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, Defender was great because, I mean, we basically had to figure out and wait till we got the right combination of things, but Absolute was completely different.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got to learn a whole bunch of new stuff. And I enjoy the product on, every 2 weeks. I pull it out.
Yeah.
I, clean my car. Yeah. Yesterday I was doing my car and I went, oh, it's not quite as slippery as I thought it was going to be. And then it's dry and you go, oh yes, it is.
Yep.
So and I like that product quite a bit.
Cool.
Well, cool. So let's talk calendar real fast, Sydney. Where are you next for PNS? And I think it's in right where you are now.
No.
Oh, you are in Chicago.
I'm going to Chicago. Yeah, I'm going to Chicago in 2 weeks. So I think we have Bead Maker and Coffee, and then I think I leave 2 days later for Chicago. Right. So going to the Creator event at Car Supplies Warehouse. Last week of this month, and then I think we're off to Big Bear for our distributor event, and then I come back to Salt Lake to Budco. So lots of travel in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be exciting.
Right. So if you're looking to find me, I am in Buffalo today, but Wednesday I'm at the Go Fast convention in Springfield, Massachusetts all day. It's a free event. If you're in the Northeast, come see me. And then next week on Monday, I'm with Bob Phillips We are in Denver together at our new partner. So check us out there. And it's going to be a great time. And then you guys go to the creator event. We all see each other in Big Bear for PNS University. And then the following week after that, I am back in Portland, Oregon with our once and former trainer and good friend, Prentice Sinclair, for a Rupus event on a Friday and a PNS coding event on Saturday. So, and then you go to Utah, I think, the following week. So we have a lot going in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Pay attention to what we're doing. If you're in Denver, come see Bob and I next week. We'll put some stuff out on social media today and the rest of the week. If you're in the Northeast, come see me on Wednesday. Safe travels, Sid. Dave, thank you for all the great products.
I'm before at the shop.
All right.
We're quite busy.
Yes.
And,
lots going on there. Lots going on there. Hopefully we'll
put as much stuff as together.
Yeah, so
we'll
you
see some pictures and videos
make
coming
more
out of
Defender. I heard we ran through the whole batch.
We did.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
Very exciting. Swift is going really well. The fragrances are going really well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was good too.
So good.
Well,
so good. All right. Well, thanks everyone.
And
thanks for bearing with me on my bad internet connection.
Oh, you did great.
All right.
All right.
Win.
Okay. Thanks, Kate.
All right.